Hey guys, welcome to the clubhouse. I'm Billy Jackson. This is my cat Tack, and today we are going to be doing our spoiler review on Thor Ragnarok. Now, don't get me wrong guys, this movie is funny and it has a lot of funny moments, and if you want to see superheroes in a comedy, this is the movie for you. The movie's exploding all over the world. Everybody loves this movie, but I'm going to tell you why I do not like this movie. And I was excited. This is one of my most anticipated movies of the year, and that's why it's such a disappointment for me, because it does not fit in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, if you know me, I am a comic book lore lover. You know, I love the superhero genre. You know, it's right up my alley. I love it all. I love all these movies that they're doing. We're getting like 8 a year now. I mean, it's my time. You know, I love it. But and I was excited for this movie because Thor is one of my favorite characters, and the Hulk is one of my favorite characters. The Planet Hulk storyline in comic books is one of my favorite storylines. And I know that most of you don't know about Planet Hulk, and that's fine, but since I do, and I'm a huge fan of it, you know, I knew some Easter eggs in this movie that you guys probably didn't know that were from Planet Hulk. First of all, Hulk being in a gladiatorial combat situation. You know, that's what Planet Hulk was all about. It was about Hulk being in gladiatorial combat. Krog, the rock guy that talked like this, you know, he talked with an Australian accent, you know, and it was actually the director, Taika Waititi, that voiced that character. And there's a Planet Hulk animated movie that you could watch, and you could see this character and know that he's like, he talks like this, and you know, he's like the big warrior type, you know, he's not a comedian, and this guy is acting like a comedian. Every character in this movie is a comedian. Little Meek, the guy next to him, the little insect guy, I was cool with him, you know, because he didn't even speak, and if he would have spoke, there would have been jokes. And Meek is like another just extreme warrior part of, you know, the Planet Hulk storyline. But the way he did them, you know, just fighting and stuff was cool. But the Krog thing was one of the major disappointments for me in this movie, because they made him into a wimp, and they made him, he wasn't even the same color. He, you know, talked like a comedian, and I was going to say idiot, but that, you know, maybe that's not the right word, but he just made jokes when jokes weren't appropriate. You know, and when I say this movie doesn't fit in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, for me at least, is because if anybody's been following this movie, you know, these movies that they've been putting together ever since Iron Man 1, and you know, you've had 16 movies since then, and it's all one storyline, and it's going to be 22 movies long. You know, they got different phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4, and phase 4 is coming up. And this movie is 2 movies away from Avengers Infinity War, and that is the end of the universe. You know, that's what's going to happen in that movie. It's the end of the universe. And in this movie, you know, this movie was supposed to be a lead up to that. So I was expecting that. You know, and it's about this character called Thanos getting all the Infinity Gems. And, you know, in every movie, you know, it's somewhere tied in. But this is the movie, you know, we got Black Panther, and then it's going to be Infinity War. So this movie was the second to the last movie, coming up to the big ending. The stakes are this high. I mean, everybody's getting ready to die, and they put out this comedy. It's just like with Guardians of the Galaxy 2. The reason why I didn't like that as much is because it tried to be too funny. You know, they said, oh, the first one worked because it was funny, so let's just be more funny, or let's be funnier. And it just did not work. You know, it worked in moments, and just like in this movie, it worked in moments. But in the first 10 minutes, there's at least 7 or 8 jokes done by Thor. And Thor, to me, is not a comedian, and he hasn't been portrayed as a comedian in all the other movies. And he does have funny moments, like in Age of Ultron when he steps on the kids' Legos and like looks at Captain America and sweeps them under the rug, with his foot. That was hilarious to me. I love that scene. And he's had funny moments, but he hasn't been a comedian. He's a god of thunder, and he's cracking jokes. Hela is going to Asgard to destroy it, to kill everybody that he knows, destroy his home and kill his friends and his family, and he knows this, and he's on another planet cracking jokes. It's not a funny moment. And I thought this movie was going to be a lot more serious. And when the first review started coming out that this movie was funny, it scared me. But I thought that they just meant, it's just a joke here and here. It was exciting and adventurous with just a few jokes that made it funny. That's what I thought they meant. But no, when I sat down and watched this movie, it was just joke after joke after joke after joke after joke. And if I said that like that, after joke after joke after joke 50 times, you would get sick of me. And that's how I was in this movie, going through the movie. And yes, the movie is beautiful, it's well colored, it has Jack Kirby isms, all through it, which y'all don't know what I'm talking about, but Jack Kirby and Stan Lee created all this. He's responsible for every character in this movie, except for the Planet Hulk guys. But anyway, you can see his color palette and the style of the outfits and stuff like that just takes me back to the older comics, like from the 60s and the 70s, that had that look to it. But it didn't have that feel to me. Hulk, I was so angry when Hulk almost became the Hulk in the theater, when the Hulk was wrestling around with Valkyrie and he had a smile on his face. He was this goofy, like, I'm having fun. That is not the Hulk. It's not the Hulk from Planet Hulk. It's not the Hulk from any comic I've ever read. Yes, he's had funny moments, and they've, humored him up a little bit in the past 20 years, but the Hulk that was made originally up until the 2000s, Hulk was the strongest of them all, and he was mean. And I mean, that's what caused Planet Hulk, because he was so uncontrollable. They had to shoot him off the earth to get him to go to another planet. Then he got veered off to this other planet and ended up having this gladiatorial combat with this Red King, and all this stuff went down. He fought Silver Surfer in the comic books, but he fights Beta Ray Bill in the animated movie. And in the comics, he has a son with the Red King's bodyguard, and the son ends up dying, and then he turns into World War Hulk, which is speculatory to say that they're thinking about doing World War Hulk for Avengers 4. So, and this movie being the first of a 3-movie arc that they're doing with the Hulk, this was the first one. This is the first act of a movie for Hulk. Because in case you didn't know, they can't make a Hulk standalone movie because Universal owns the distributing rights to distribute a movie, about the Hulk. So they only can put him in movies. That's why you don't see any more standalone movies now that Disney owns Marvel Studios. But anyway, that being said, to see Hulk bouncing around and joking and laughing. Now, I didn't mind him talking and what his banter between Thor and them, Hulk like raging fire, Thor like smoldering fire. I loved that kind of stuff. That I was having fun with that, and I loved that part of the movie. But to see him wrestling around with Valkyrie and laughing and stuff and not turning into Banner, but as soon as he sees, Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, he turns into Banner all of a sudden. It was just really weak to me, this writing was, and all the time Thor's home is getting destroyed. His friends are getting killed. If you were at work and somebody said, I'm getting ready to go to your house and murder your family and blow up your house, I'll see you. Would you be cracking jokes at work? That's how this movie felt to me, because it wasn't realistic, and they've made all the other Marvel movies, to me, have been realistic, believable in that world that they're creating, and I've enjoyed it up until now. When they start making a joke out of it, I'm just pissed about it. Sorry, but I'm just mad about it, and that's why I gave this movie such a low score. is because of all the reasons I've just described, and there's more. When Asgard blows up in front of him, Korg cracks a darn joke. His friends just got murdered and his home destroyed. And his buddy goes, well, there goes the foundation. I mean, come on. The stakes are so high that you can't be cracking jokes. And if that would have been my home and somebody was standing next to me and like that, it'd been teeth out. You know, because you don't crack jokes about somebody's home being destroyed and their family getting murdered. I mean, and that's why I was just so mad at this movie. It was just all a bunch of jokes. Yes, they're funny, but look at it in the scope of things, of everything they've led up until now, and maybe you can understand where I'm coming from. I'm not saying don't go see this movie. Go see the movie because you will like it. The only reason I don't like it is because I'm a super fan. You know, but if you're just a casual moviegoer, like most of these people that are raving about the movie, they're just casual moviegoers. They're not really ingrained into the storyline and what's really going on. You know, you will enjoy this movie. If you want to go and laugh and have a good time and not be taken seriously, go see this and you will love it. I promise you. Go see it. I'm not saying don't see it. Go see the movie. You'll love it probably. But I don't like it because I'm a super fan and they've totally ruined all the characters that I loved. And if they keep on going with Thor being a comedian, I'm going to lose faith in Marvel Cinematic Universe because we got Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which was goofy and stupid. Then here we go, Thor Ragnarok, goofy and stupid. If Infinity War is goofy and stupid, imagine if Justice League comes out and everybody's just cracking jokes and it's funny and a good time, even though Steppenwolf's coming down to destroy the world. They're not going to do that because it doesn't make sense. And that's why this movie didn't make sense, and that's why I gave it a 4 out of 10 for Thor Ragnarok. Guys, I just checked the time and see that I'm running into 12 minutes. Apologize, but I just wanted to get all my emotions out about this movie because I was so disappointed. I definitely am going to rewatch it again, probably 2 or 3 times, just to make sure that I'm seeing what I'm seeing. I could be wrong myself, and I've made that mistake before and given higher scores after rewatching a movie. But on first goes, I was disappointed. But there you go, guys. There's my spew. Thanks for listening to me and putting up with my crap because I just went on a rant, and I apologize, but that's the way it goes. Because you know the only thing stopping me is me stopping. Bam!